Photography, and today we're just going to run through a quick edit of a Song Sparrow that I photographed recently. This is going to be a pretty quick and simple edit, and I just want to kind of go through my process again, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up Lightroom, and once I make some edits in Lightroom, I'm going to open it up in Photoshop, finish up my edits there, things like denoise and recovering of detail, and then we're just going to finish up and we will output our final. So here we go. We're going to open up Lightroom, and this is my image. This is the raw unedited. You can see that I need to expose this out a little bit more. It's a little dim for my tastes. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. We'll go to develop. And the first thing I usually do is go and do my crop. So I want to adjust my composition, and I really like this bird. Usually a lot of times I'll get the eye right here to be on the thirds, so I'm just gonna hold down my shift, which keeps my aspect ratio. I like the aspect ratio to be just about how it is in the camera, and if you can see that if I go down like this, then I get right smack on the eye just by holding down shift, but I want to get in there a little bit tighter. So I'm just going to go down like that, and then I'm going to readjust. And I'm going to put that eye right center there on that upper thirds, upper right thirds. So that looks pretty good to me. You can see I've got a little bit of overhang right here, just a little extra, but I'm going to take care of that in Photoshop, get rid of it. So I don't like distractions, and I can just easily take care of that. So we're done cropping. I'm gonna go ahead and say cool, looks good. Now first thing I'm gonna do is, it's a little cool, and the sun was shining. It was a warmer, brighter day, so I'm gonna expose this up a little bit more and warm it up. So we'll start with the exposure. Just bring the exposure up. Now some of my colors fading out as I expose it, so I'm going to fix that with the vibrance. And we'll go ahead and add some warmth to it. That looks pretty good there. Let's go ahead and add some vibrance, some color back into it. And I'll do this with Photoshop as well. There's some areas in here that I kind of want to add some color to, and they're looking a little bit drab, and we don't want that. I like the two-tone of the blue with this kind of a golden. This is what I want all of it to look like. It's kind of this nice golden look. So I'm actually going to bring in my brush here. I don't need it feathered quite so much. I'm going to just go in here, paint some of this on. And it's already negatively exposed, just so I can see it on. So I'm just going to drop this back down to 0, or close to it. And sometimes easier just to type it in. I'm going to add color to it. There we go. I'm going to erase. I'm just going to hit that a little bit. I want it to fade just a little bit more. There we go. That looks all right. All right, let me go back out of my brush here. And now this is kind of like Photoshop's healing brush tool, and I can just take it. It's like a spot removal. I can just take it, and I think Photoshop really does a better job, but this will get me started. We still have a little bit more to work with. These grass blades are kind of a distraction to me as well, but like I said, I think I'm going to take care of all that in Photoshop. The one thing I'm going to do is I've got this. Looks like a spot is on my lens, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. And that's an easy fix. Excuse me, this spot was on my sensor. And it looks like I've got another one. So one thing is cleaning up all of your little spots. I have to clean my sensor every month or so, and I get these little dots on there. And so it's pretty easy to clean up, and on a detailed piece you don't even see them, but on a nice background they definitely show up. So you want to get rid of those, and it's easy to do. So from here, that all looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and up in Photoshop, I'm going to export this to my desktop. And it just takes a minute to export. Some people open that right up from Lightroom, but I don't know. I do it my way. Okay, so now I have my image ready to process here. And the first thing I'm going to do here is go into my my healing brush tool, and I'm going to fix this area right here and just wipe it out. Easy to get rid of. Now I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to actually make my brush bigger. That's too big. Here we go, something like that. And I'm just going to get rid of that. That kind of created some harsh blues here. I'm going to try to take some of those out. Take some of this grass here out. I'll try to get my photos to look more natural. The trick is to not let anybody know that you actually did any work. So that all looks pretty good. I'm just trying to soften everything. I just want to hide the fact that I made any edits, erased things. I like how this is looking. I'm going to take this down 600. Just kind of clean up some of this here. Okay, I could get really nitpicky, but overall, I think that looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and run a denoise on this. I don't remember what my ISO was, but I think it was around like 400 or 500, which really isn't bad, but I still get a little bit of grain. It's just inevitable. But I use this handy tool called Topaz Labs Denoise, and it takes care of the noise pretty well without a lot of detail loss. You can see that when I click on this, you can see the noise here, and when it runs it, it pretty much takes care of the noise and leaves you with a nice image. Once in a while I do have to run a little bit more of a detail recovery on some of them, but this one isn't too bad. I'll still run the detail recovery just a little bit, just a minor touch. So we'll run this. This takes just a minute to process. We'll have a nice smooth background. So this was photographed in Seward, Alaska last week, and it was a beautiful day. I went down to Seward with a friend of mine, and we just spent the whole day from sunrise to sundown photographing birds out there in Seward. So we had a lot of fun. Okay, so I ran denoise on this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my quick selection tool and select the bird. quick selection tool is really pretty powerful. It does a really nice job just selecting your bird, your subject matter. I'm not worried too much about every little feather. I just want to get like the most of the detail. So I'm just running it here, make sure I get all the edges. Shrink it down a little bit. There we go, something like that. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. Oops, I missed some of this, some of the bird's foot right here. A little piece of wood. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So now what I'm going to do is feather this and contract it a little bit, just because when I run this detail action, it can be harsh if it's a harsh selection. So I want to soften the transition. So I'm just going to contract it by 5 pixels, and then I'm going to go into feather and feather it 5 pixels. That way it kind of softens that. So then I'm going to go ahead and run my Topaz Labs. It's like a secret weapon. I love Topaz Labs. Their denoise and adjust are just really cool. Okay, so these are kind of my 2 go-tos, either mild details or photo pop. I really like the way the photo pop brings out the colors, and I like the colors in this bird, the browns and whatnot. So I'm going to stick with that. And details, see here that this is a cool panel because you can go in here and like add more details if you need to, or adjust things. But I kind of like the presets, especially for a shot like this one where I don't need a lot of heavy edits. So I'm going to go ahead and just say okay. I like how that's done. So now I'm going to warm up some of this background here. I wanted some of that golden color back in here, and so I'm going to do that now. I'm going to inverse my selection. So now I've just got the background, and I'm going to go in here and do, I think I want to do a vibrance layer. I'm going to crank up the vibrance here and the saturation. You might think, what in the world is he doing? This looks crazy. But what I can do here, because this is a layer here that I can make adjustments to, and so I can paint on or take the exposure down a little bit. So I actually don't like quite how blue this sky is, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to paint it out a little bit. It's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to drop my opacity on my brush, and I'm just going to take out some of the color here. There we go. So I don't know if you can see, I made a bit of a difference. Just brought in some color there into those areas, which I like. And I really think I like that. There's some areas up in here which I think look a little bit funky. So I'm going to just make some minor adjustments here. There we go. So that's it. I think I'm happy with that. I think I like it. Let me go in here. So I got good eye shine on the bird's eye here. Got nice coloration in the eye. Nice details on the feathers. Everything looks pretty good. Nice color in the background. So from here, I'm just going to throw my signature on here. I usually do just like a color burn, or I don't know, sometimes color dodge. I'm going to take it way down. It just doesn't need to be prominent. I don't want to distract from the bird, but I also want my name on there. So sometimes it's a balancing act. But I think that looks pretty good. And that's about it. I think that looks good. I like the two tones here. I like how this one turned out. So I'm going to call this a wrap. I'm going to save this, and I have a hard drive that I save this to. I'm just going to call this Song Sparrow I. This is the first one I've done this year, so actually no, it's not. I photographed some song sparrows in Anchorage recently. Well, I would say a month and a half ago. So this will be Song Sparrow 3. And whatever filing you do, that's cool. Figure out something that works for you. Keep it consistent. There we go. So this is saved, and it's got my layers, everything how I want it. And so when I want to save this to like Flickr or Facebook or whatever, I'm going to make a smaller image. So I'm going to take this down to like 14 inches wide, and I'm going to drop the resolution down to 180. And then I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Let's go ahead and save it. And then I'm going to exit out. I don't want to save this because I shrank it down. And if I was to say save, then it's going to be much smaller than I want it. And I do not want that to happen, so I'm not going to save it. And that's it. So now I can upload it if I want to, upload to Facebook, Flickr, any other place, and it's ready to go. So hope this has been useful and helpful for you. I'll try to get some more videos up and be more regular on this. But thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.